Can the Tour de France's last day in the UK live up to the spectacular scenes so far?
Yes, in just a matter of hours, 200 of the world's greatest cyclists will be at the start line here in Cambridge as this, the UK cycling capital, prepares to welcome the world's biggest cycling race.
Well, the peloton will be setting off from Cambridge this morning. Our reporter Ben Bland is there. Morning, Ben. So 2.5 million people turning out in Yorkshire. Can we see the same sorts of numbers, do you think, today between Cambridge and London?
Well, Bill, certainly they are stacking up. Look already, there's still a few hours to go before it starts, but look at the spectators there, secured the prime positions by the stage and by the start line. But the whole of this field, Parker's Piece in Cambridge, has been transformed into a cycling village. Look at these tents that have popped up, really trying to make the most of this huge event that's happening right here. Of course, geographically, it's very different to the Yorkshire stages. We won't have any of those climbs, those dramatic climbs up and down the hills. But although the geography of Cambridgeshire, Essex and London is a lot more flat, the same certainly can't be said of the atmosphere. The music was blaring out of the speakers just over there by the stage a moment ago. They've switched it off very kindly while I'm talking to you. But this is certainly a city that calls itself the UK's capital of cycling. 1 in 5 journeys in Cambridge are done by bike, and they're certainly making a big play of the fact that the world's biggest cycling race is starting right here for its third stage.
OK, Ben, thanks very much. Ben Bland in Cambridge.
Stage 3 of the race sees the competitors start at Cambridge and finish in front of Buckingham Palace. Well, let's go now to Cambridge, where the third stage will be starting soon. BBC's Ben Bland is there with a considerable crowd, Ben.
Oh, absolutely. I think we could well see similar numbers to those that we saw in Yorkshire over the weekend. In some places, if you just have a look, the crowd is 6 or 7 people deep. We are right by the start line here, and they are presenting the cyclists on stage as we speak. Beyond that, on this field in Cambridge, Parker's Piece, they have transformed it into a cycling village. There are tents that have sprung up over the weekend. They are really embracing this here, as you would expect from this city. Cambridge prides itself on being the UK's cycling capital. Here, 1 in 5 journeys is made by bike. A third of people say they commute to work by bike as their main mode of transport. So, you know, cycling is in the DNA of this city, and people are really embracing it. I was among the crowds earlier when the caravan, the advanced caravan, was going through, throwing sweets and hats and T-shirts out. There were kids who've got the day off school because school's shut. The parents had brought them out here on this sunny day to make the most of this world event coming through their home city. It really is a day that has built up a lot of excitement, as you would expect. And the first bit of it, when they start from the finish line, they will go slowly, fairly slowly, through the city. They'll go past the historic colleges like St John's and Trinity and King's, and then they'll loop round and then they'll make their way out, down through South Cambridgeshire and then on into Essex. And we can now join my colleague Sangeeta Maiska in Trafalgar Square, where they'll be arriving a little bit later.
The Tour de France got underway at the weekend, and it seemed all of Yorkshire came out to cheer them on their way. Today, the third stage of the tour took the riders from Cambridge to London. Throughout the programme tonight, we're going to listen in to what's been happening, starting with Ben Bland in Cambridge.
A bunch of cyclists made their way through Cambridge, something you could say on pretty much any day of the week. But today, we're talking about some 200 of the world's best. They began by rolling relatively slowly through the historic city centre, past King's, St John's and Trinity colleges, before picking up speed as they left through the south of the county. Yorkshire had set a high bar with stages 1 and 2 at the weekend. Of course, Cambridgeshire doesn't have those steep hills and dramatic climbs. But though the geography here may be flat, the mood was anything but.
Walking through, everyone's happy and saying hello and nice and showing you where to go, and it's really fantastic.
It's not very often it comes to the UK, so the opportunity to see the guys here up close and personal, it's nice.
It's the biggest event of the year, and we're all cycling fans, so it's the best thing ever to get here.
We are here to support the Danish riders.
This is a city that embraces cycling. 1 in 5 journeys here are made by bike. The doubters said Cambridge folk were lacking the enthusiasm of their northern cousins, but today they showed they know how to throw a party, as the city known as the UK's cycling capital proudly played host to the world's biggest cycling race.
We'll have more from the tour in just a while. Now, are you sitting comfortably?